live in the dungeon. This is the Dream Warrior Review. I'm Kurt Thomas.
I'm Mick Strawn.
I do want to say that I'm glad to see Skeletor working again. He came back from retirement.
Yeah, he did.
And they only had to do a couple makeup changes.
But it's just like there was a thin. Yeah, he's got a thin skin though.
Yeah,
he really does. So,
you ready for my wonderful intro?
Yeah, I am. Hey,
I need drums. I need drums behind me.
In a post-apocalyptic world where cities ride on wheels and consume each other to survive, two people meet in London and try to stop a conspiracy. Mortal engines.
Mortal.
Wait, I think I could do that better.
Mortal engines.
Traveling rock carries no moss? Wait, how's it go? Rolling.
A rolling stone gathers no moss.
Gathers no moss, yes.
Exactly.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, well, that was,
Like a rolling stone.
So, I gotta tell you, when I saw the commercials to this, I thought, oh, this looks kind of like too much CGI.
That's what I thought.
Much this and this.
Yeah. But
I have to say,
we did see it in 3D. We have to say that we didn't see it in regular definition.
It gave me a headache. I have to say.
Yeah. So we might be seeing it a little differently. I just want to put that out there.
We might be, but I have to say that it didn't take long before I was completely sucked into the story. And you know what it reminded me of? Is it actually reminded me of sitting through the first Star Wars film.
So it had a lot of things borrowed from Star Wars, which is interesting.
It did all the way across. It had a lot of the elements of. One thing that it definitely borrowed was the design of the front of the cockpits and the way the windows were, which were borrowed from World War II warplanes, and they were used in all those
I like the one
Star
plane.
Wars, and they were used.
The red
in this
one was awesome.
The red one was awesome. I just have to say,
there was a thing where he went to the thing and flew out of the thing and went to this, did this and that.
Yeah,
that was from Star Wars.
Yeah, the whole thing.
And then you left during the bathroom. You went to the bathroom, and we discovered that this guy took care of somebody. This one guy in the movie took care of this other person in the movie. Oh
yeah, that's what I figured that out almost immediately. Yeah.
That was a weird thing.
But you know what? That was a really cool thing because it wasn't something that you really expected.
No.
There were a lot of things that didn't go, just totally true to form. And they were a delight when they happened. The look of the film was...
The overall look was great, yeah.
Just great.
Absolutely.
It was absolutely great.
The sound with the engines and everything.
Yeah.
I thought that would be distracting at first. I don't know if any Peter Jackson's friends were in this. I felt like there were some familiar people, but I couldn't place them.
Well, there was an awful...
Some of the Southerners, maybe?
I kept looking to see if some of the people that I'd worked with from New Zealand had worked on this, and it didn't look like it.
So the guy that played
because we're getting
Shrike was Stephen Lang. It wasn't Skeletor like I thought it was, but Stephen Lang. But yeah,
the cast. I thought
Shrike had quite a range for a.
He did.
Yeah,
he did
for a Terminator kind of guy.
Yeah. You really stuck on this character, I might say.
No, I was fascinated by this character because at first I was like, "Oh, it's gonna be so cheesy," but then I was like, "Okay, it's actually pretty cool." It's like that's kind of how the whole movie was for me.
The whole movie for me was I was totally expecting to be let down.
Yeah,
because I saw King Kong.
There was one shot
Peter
though.
Jackson.
One shot of the red airplane. I think it was red airplane.
Yeah,
one of the airplanes, and it looked like Thunderbirds, like it was on strings.
There was a couple of times. I don't know if that was intentional or not. There was a couple of times where the red airplane kind of looked kind of jerky and jerky in that bad optical way.
Yeah,
but
I was wondering if maybe it was put in there on purpose, like kind of a shout out to the past.
It could be.
I don't know.
Could be. But the look of things, the reality. Things did have a gritty look, and they were real. I mean, they had a real heft to them. I think that it was obvious that there were a lot of carpenters that were involved in this, and I think that a lot of machinists to make the stuff that was close to us as real as possible, but also the painting effects. Like the red plane. I mean, it was scratched and there were so many ways.
And the deities,
that it was,
the deities they showed early on.
Yeah,
the American deities. Yeah, but yeah, they were aged well, I thought.
Yeah, just everything in the way that we kind of got immediately into the story.
Yeah, actually, that was the one thing that was great about it is it didn't spend a lot of time explaining itself.
It didn't explain itself.
It just
at all.
did it.
It just did it,
which is great.
And you know what? Here's the thing. I'm telling you right now that American audiences are not as stupid as filmmakers think that we are. We can figure it out.
No, I don't want.
I mean, and that's the thing is exposition. In fact, one of the other films that we had was the exposition was incredible,
right.
And it kept going and going and going.
Well, I think some writers actually have a problem with that they over-explain too much.
Well, the fear is when you're writing science fiction, your biggest problem is that every character that's in that world already knows everything that they already are supposed to know in that world, and they have to figure out a way to leak that to you. Now, one of the advantages a movie has is that they can leak it to you visually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
which is what a movie should do. It's visual.
Which is what it should do. And the problem is that a lot of times the writers kind of double down on that, and part of the reason is because they're looking at it in the beginning. It's nothing but these pages, right? And so in a way, they're trying to even the script writers are trying to placate a reading population, and that's the population who's going to read the script. And so I think a lot of times nobody just goes in there at the end and says, "Nah, that's visual. You don't have to worry about that. Somebody doesn't have to say, "Oh, look, there's a huge balloon up there."
Right.
That's got a whole city in it, because we see the balloon out there.
Well, I'm getting down to
like
the origin stories, like how they did little bits and pieces, and they didn't make it overwhelming. It wasn't like a long, huge story about when I was a little kid. They just went
back and picked a couple of little pieces,
or they just showed it
forward. Yeah. No, I mean it was great. I love the steampunk. I'm not 100% sure that this
Did you read this book? Was this? I don't know much about this book.
It is a book. I've got the book, and I'm supposed to be reading it, but it seems really long. I mean, I'm not afraid of long books, but
who was the guy that played the bad guy? I kind of liked him. He was pretty good.
Yeah,
Hugo Weaving.
He seemed conflicted in
who was
certain
the guy?
ways.
Wasn't Hugo Weaving?
Yeah, that was him.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh, he just looks so different. Okay. Wow.
But
anyway.
But what I was going to say about steampunk is that this goes beyond steampunk a little bit, because you don't have planes that are steam. You know what? This is a cross between steampunk and Road Warrior.
Right.
But the Road Warrior is taken from. It's built on a society that was once advanced, and now they've turned it around, and they've forged these new cities that are on the move.
I was wondering why the big thing. There's only one thing I was worried about. Like, there's a little thing being chased by a big thing. It seems like the little thing could have just turned off and gone around the big thing.
Yeah, well,
But anyway, that's the only thing that bothered me.
You know what? Oh, wait. You know what? You know what the problem probably was? It was probably in the script.
Oh, I did have to point out that I like some of the costume design too. Like the guy with the buttons all over his suit. That was a freaking amazing outfit.
Now I have to say that costume design is directly lifted off of steampunk.
Yeah, totally.
all the way through.
But the buttons, did you notice that suit?
Yeah, right.
I've got to have one now. Because I'm collecting suits.
I think you'd look good in that.
And then the guy one of the main characters, Tom, the guy that played Tom.
Right.
He looked like Battlestar Galactica, kind of, and with the haircut even.
Right. In fact, everybody that was coming from the first captured city, they looked like they were all coming out with Battlestar Galactica outfits. Not the same one that he had, but the basic people's uniform. Yeah.
I'm talking about the original one, not the remake.
Oh, not the remake. So,
I mean, I guess the remake kind of. I guess their outfits look like that.
Yeah, they were kind of similar. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I just like the original so much more.
Yeah, but the I don't want to get into.
Oh, I do have one more problem. Just I'll leave it alone after this. This stupid jump that they're doing in superhero movies. We've talked about this before, and they used it in this one. What's her name? Jahai? Anna Fang?
Yeah.
The character Anna Fang?
Yeah.
She jumps out of the airplane, lands on something. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
And does that look,
Yeah,
puts her head up?
The superhero jump.
Where did that come from? It was stupid. I would have liked it better if she just jumped out and ran.
I've gotten very, 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 very super aware of the jump, of the superhero jump. Who does the better superhero jump? And I have to tell you, right now, Jason Momoa, I think his name is.
Oh, yeah, Momoa.
That guy can do the superhero jump.
The Aquaman?
Oh, yeah, the land. He does, and he does it with his hair going out.
He also has a
over.
trident in his hand usually, doesn't he?
Yeah, no. The one that I'm talking about is earlier.
Oh, okay.
Earlier when they're jumping out of the plane and he lands, and he
like
lands
in the Avengers,
900%. Pure. His hair goes forward and he throws it.
Well,
back,
Captain America's pretty good too. But,
yeah, well,
But yeah, hers was like almost like it was like a jump and then kind of a bow. I don't know. It wasn't really a super jump, but no, it was the dumbest part of this movie.
So what you're trying
if I
to
only
say,
saw that moment, if that moment was the advertisement for this movie,
been done.
I would have said I'm not going to see that movie.
I would have walked away.
But no, the whole thing was great. I was
absolutely
entertained.
Great.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I was sucked in. Yeah,
I mean, I was totally there.
Yeah.
I kept thinking, wow.
I got a little bored during the credits, but other than that, I was good.
Yeah, I was getting excited. There was a lot of credits. No, I was getting excited. It had me charged.
It was exactly like, I mean, it really did kind of follow the formula of like Star Wars.
It was a Star Wars.
And
it was.
That's why I liked it, because it kind of followed that, and a lot of the same things happened.
Yeah, it was a steampunk version.
Right.
Apocalyptic.
Yeah. It was a weird mix of a lot of different things, which I really liked. A lot of stuff for the like history and like history that hasn't happened too, which is weird. I was a little worried about that thing, that machine thing that was a big central focus in the third act, I guess.
Yeah, I still wasn't too happy about that. That was
but it did kind of look a little, reminded me of a lot of like Frankenstein with his, I'm talking about.
Right, exactly. And I was curious about
just my sound effects.
About
and the purple was pretty, but anyway. No, so see this movie.
You really, for our fans who like the stuff that we like, all three of you.
Peter Jackson, if you like Peter Jackson stuff, this is pretty killer.
Yeah, this is killer.
Do you think this is a step up from like Lord of the Rings? Of course, that was years ago when the technology was different, obviously.
I think so. I'm not a fan of the movies Lord of the Rings, so that's just not my. I remember liking the first one a lot, but they are really long movies, and it's a totally different. You can't really compare them because they're totally different themes. I thought stories. They could have done so much more with the look of them. Yeah, because they look exactly like you think they would have, and part of that might have been that his description, Tolkien's description, was so good. But, like, it didn't seem like anybody really tried to really oomph.
Yeah. Of course, I haven't read this one, so I couldn't really know. But, yeah, I think you're right about Lord of the Rings, though, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it just didn't didn't. As a production designer, looking at another production designer's work, I want to look at another production designer's work, and I want to see mystery as to how it happened. Mystery is how it came together. Mystery is as in I don't consider myself the super imaginative. I mean, I have a great imagination. Don't get me wrong, but I'm not the pure fantasy guy. You know, that does the dragons and
avatars,
the orcs, avatars and stuff like that. And the funny thing is I just want them to be a hell of a lot better than I could even imagine, right? And that was not Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings almost looked exactly like the illustrations that were done in the 70s by, what was the name of that? Hildebrandt.
Okay.
Right? Hildebrandt did all the original elves, and it looked almost exactly like that. And I thought, oh, man, that's,
Yeah. So was this close to being production designer porn for you?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Just.
I love the answer. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
So I would actually, there's got to be a website out there, I bet. I want to find out. productiondesignerporn.com. All these production designers. Oh my God, did you see that? The lighting on Blade Runner. Oh my God. Anyway.
Oh, there was this glint. Exactly. Yeah, no, it was. I just absolutely.
I was actually relieved that they made it look good because I thought it was going to be all CGI and all just cheesy looking, especially because I was watching it in 3D. That makes me nervous too.
Exactly.
And they fixed that. There used to be a time where when you're watching 3D movies and anything that had a window just looked like crap.
Right.
I think that's gotten better.
Well, yeah, it still shifts a lot. As you're watching, it isn't perfect.
Yeah.
The glasses just they kind of cause their own shifts that come in and out.
They're curved a little bit too.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if this happens to you, but to me, they kind of come in and out, and it's disturbing.
It's better than the old school stuff though, the red and blue.
I remember about when would this have been? About the year 2000. I went down to the DGA. They were having a technology fair at the DGA, the Directors Guild. And the great thing is they had the new thing that was coming in was the high-tech screens. Well, the thing is on the high-tech edge, HD was coming in, and everybody had HD, but the real thing was HD 3D. Was coming in, and everybody had glasses and stuff. And there was this one guy that he had a glassless technology, but you had to sit in one chair. He had a sofa set up, right? and he was showing a film, and you had to sit in the sofa. And the weird thing about it is, I remember that you'd walk around, and from behind the sofa, it wouldn't make any sense, and like you'd like, as you were coming around going, and as soon as you just let yourself drop into the sofa, if you were in the middle of the sofa, you drop, and all of a sudden it would go 3D.
Wow.
But the strange thing about it is that the point of 3D-ness was so focused, because it wasn't really, even if you went too much, it was like the sofa was wider than the point. Yeah. So that if you were like over towards either side of the sofa, it was outside of the point. I was like, wow, that's it's really interesting.
That's crazy.
But all those interesting limitations that you have, and it's funny, we still have the glasses.
Well, these movies nowadays. So there's only one problem I have. Well, maybe I have more problems. I always have problems with everything. I'm just complaining a lot, don't I?
Yeah, you are.
No, 3D movies nowadays.
Kind of bitchy.
They shoot them they shoot them not necessarily to be 3D. You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
They just make them 3D. But I remember when I was a young lad, and my dad would take me to see these old 3D movies from the 50s and 60s, and
Well,
they would
that's-
swing like telescopes, and people would duck in the audience. But
Right.
they
Well,
did it to make it for the novelty of having things come out of the screen,
Well, yeah, exactly.
or something would
Because-
fly at you.
Well, part of the problem here, like, did you see Tintin?
I think so.
Yeah, Tintin was we saw that in 3D.
Yeah.
The thing is it had a lot of the elements that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Like it had a ride in not a roller coaster, but like this cart through town, right? And you're riding in the cart, and it was like,
Right.
It was like pure 3. It was. The problem with 3D is this: is it has to be done. It isn't really well done, and the thing is you have to see a movie that makes up for that. That really kind of hits you. I mean, we're not at all ready to have a comfortable experience in 3D where, and you don't want to film that way.
Well, I think J.J. Abrams, like when he did Star Trek in 3D, I think.
Right.
I remember watching a documentary about how he actually thought about 3D while he was making the movie. He thought about it.
Right.
So he had certain shots that were done differently than they would have done normally.
Right, exactly. And the thing is, though, if you do,
Which I didn't see in 3D.
if you do too much of that,
Takes away from
it
the
looks really
movie.
gimmicky.
Well, the movies I saw with my dad were very gimmicky, but that was part of the point.
Oh, exactly. It was part of the point, though.
I just wish I would have been around that when they had the vibrating chairs. The Vibratrons, is that what they called it? I don't remember what they called it, but I wish I was there when that happened. Or the bzz, you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I remember seeing polyester with the little cards, and a friend of mine was he had to like open the boxes of the little cards, and he said that he would almost vomit every time he opened up one of the box of cards. He said the smell that would come out was pretty unbelievable.
Interactive movies.
Interactive, yeah.
We should try that again. Where's John Waters? He should be
exactly.
developing this technology still.
Yeah, well, I think John Waters is...
Well, who did the vibrating chairs? Wasn't that... was that Corman?
That was that guy... No. That was a guy back in... I can't think of his name, but he did a whole bunch of... He did a lot of it back east.
Oh, okay.
I mean, when the distribution was still back east. Back east, it was so much easier to distribute these things because you had a kind of a metered, here was a town, and there's a town, and there's a town, and you drive like a few miles, and there's a town with a theater. A few miles, there's a town with a theater, right? So it's easy to network it, and guys would distribute films out of the trunks of their car, right? Just start driving. New Line
I'd like to be
Cinema,
one of those guys.
New Line Cinema started that way, It started with Bob and a couple of guys, literally throwing a bunch of copies of Reefer Madness in the back of their cars and going from college to college to college, right?
Right.
But that kind of distribution never worked on the West Coast because the distances are just insane.
Yeah. Wow.
So, yeah, life is different everywhere you go. So, what do you think? Where are you going to rate this film? I think I'm going to go first here.
Oh.
Boy, I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot. I want to go 4.6.
It's weird when you go in thinking you're going to hate something. And then
Yeah, right. And I'm completely turned around. I'm like 4.6. I thought that there was very little wrong with the whole film.
Well, see, I really loved Blade Runner, and I only gave it like a 4.5, maybe. I didn't
See, you worry about...
I know, because I
mean, some days I really like a film, and I give it 3.8.
Sometimes I think
but
about
you know what's going to happen today? Today, I'm giving this film a 4.6. And I don't know why I couldn't just give it a 5.
Yeah, I don't know.
You know what?
I can't give it a 5.
What?
No, it's not happening.
Yeah.
I can give it a 4.2. A very strong 4.2.
When I go back and think.
Okay, let me think about it. Skeletor. Okay, Skeletor gives me another 4.3.
4.3. I'm going to still stick to my 4.6 because you know what I haven't been doing lately is Young Frankenstein, and I've thought about this. Young Frankenstein. I mean, as long as you're like.
I want to see what the connection is with Young Frankenstein.
Okay, I gave it a 4.7.
Yeah.
I remember it at 4.7. So here's the question. What the hell would I give a 5 to? Right? I mean, this is ridiculous. I should have given it a 5, and it that way it could be up there with 2001: A Space Odyssey. I would give a 5.
Do you know what we're doing here? We're pointing out the absurdity of our rating system.
Well, nothing if not absurd.
If I watch Metropolis, for example, on a day I really want to see it, I'd give it a 5. But if I was going to be really analytical and I didn't really want to watch it, I'd probably give it like a 4.
See, but I'm feeling generous. You know how generous I'm feeling? I'm going retro. I'm going back to my other scores and I'm raising them up.
Oh, wow.
So I think Blade Runner, I'd have to say 5 then. You know, if I
rating
was
these on a curve?
What?
I'm sticking with 4.3. And I gave it an extra 0.1 because of the guy that played Shrike, Stephen Lang.
Oh, I see. Okay.
I mean, he just did the voice, but I'm saying, or, you know.
Well,
I just thought it was a great combination of Terminator, Skeletor, and what else? Puppets. I don't know, just like puppets in general.
Yeah, Blade.
Had a lot of stuff going on.
Mad Max. I mean, there was definitely huge elements of Mad Max in there. Yeah. Oh, this is a great film. You have to go out. You have to see it. Hats off to Peter Jackson's company and Weta. I know he didn't direct it. It was directed by Christian Rivers.
Yep.
But the screenplay
was good too, and Peter Jackson was involved too. Yeah, obviously,
the screenplay was amazing. I will get to the book. I didn't really mean that the book was too big for me to read. The problem is...
You mean physically?
No. I mean...
Are you getting weak?
No, I don't mean that. I mean...
It's too heavy.
I mean, everything's on my Kindle these days. What? Yeah, like, right. No, it's literally... I'm in the middle of all these series of science fiction books, and I'm trying to bring them all to a close because I got because I got a whole bunch of the new ones, right? So I've been going through that. So that's why it bothers me being long. So I read a lot.
Yes. Yeah. You've been reading the whole time you've been doing this podcast. How do you multitask?
I have.
Like He's bringing Pride and Prejudice right now.
I am. Oh, you know what I saw the other day?
What?
Paul and I were sitting back and it showed up on Netflix. Blazing Saddles.
Nice. That's a good one.
And boy, they've got a really nice print of it.
Oh, really?
Yeah. No, I mean, it is the cleanest.
Where is it on? Prime?
It's no, it's on
Hulu, Netflix.
Okay,
cool.
Yeah, it's on Netflix, and it's a clean copy. It looks great. By the way, the older I get, the more I appreciate that people took things off of good copies or went to the trouble of cleaning it up before, because there was another film that we just looked at that had 4 different versions of it there.
Yes.
And I checked all 4 different versions.
I don't know which one I picked.
Each one, I mean, at best they were terrible, but I have to tell you, some of them were really bad, you know? Yep. But
I have a copy of the one that you're talking about, and it's horrible. So I actually watched one of the ones on. Actually, I have to point out that Netflix is interesting. I mean, Netflix is good, obviously, because there's a lot of original programming and stuff, and all that stuff on there. Hulu is interesting because you have TV and you have some decent. You don't have any really good original programming, at least not that we've discovered yet. Yeah, except for maybe Stephen King's Castle Rock a little bit.
Castle Rock a little bit, yeah.
But Prime, I've noticed, if you dig deep, you can find some gems in there, and it's even if you just do keyword searches, sometimes you can find older movies that they don't really promote.
Yeah, I know.
It's blown my mind.
It's I search all the time. I go back to lists that people put out to see if I can find stuff that's great. That's buried gems.
It's hard when you have to go through multiple services, though.
Who's got something that I am looking at right now? Oh yeah, Future Man. The Future Man series looks really interesting. I'm only through the second one, and I don't think it's really gotten up and running yet. But it's
I've been wanting to check out the Hill House one. on Netflix.
Yeah, I've heard that that's really, really, really pumping. Really good.
But I haven't seen it yet. So.
But then there's also Internet Archive.
Yes, Internet Archive.
which I just barely scratched the surface of stuff.
And YouTube.
And YouTube.
Sometimes stuff
YouTube goes on forever. Yeah. I gotta tell you,
Certified bad prints on YouTube.
If you like things like from the 30s and 40s and 50s, YouTube has an amazing selection.
So does the Internet Archive.
Film.
Archive.org or whatever.
Yeah, but it's nothing like YouTube. YouTube is astounding. I mean, people have uploaded just every possible version of like everything that's been done, and I often listen to a podcast. It's a movie podcast. It's called "You Must Remember This."
Oh, okay.
And it's Karina Longworth, and she goes and she does this incredible research on all these old actresses and stuff, and actors, and how they intersected with each other's careers and what the studios were like back then. And it's very, very interesting to be able. A lot of the films that you hear, they actually show up on YouTube, just because they've lost the rights to them.
I'll have to follow that podcast.
Or they didn't carry anymore. Yeah.
Just like people should follow our podcast.
Yeah. By the way, our podcast, Dream Warrior Review, is amazing, and you need to listen to it.
Yeah.
And also, I have a book.
Yes.
It's called Behind the Screams, and it's all about Nightmare on Elm Street 4. It would make a great gift for a movie fan, for a horror fan, or for a film fan of the Nightmare on Elm Streets. Go to
and it's pliable, so you can actually put it in a stocking.
Yes, you could. Go to BehindTheScreamsBook.com and order one for yourself.
The whole family.
For the whole family. I also do some another podcast. You can actually find stuff that I'm doing everywhere right now. But I do another podcast called Best Kills Movie Club.
Right.
Wow, I remembered it. There you go. With Scott Paulson.
It's a better description you gave me. I'm doing this thing with this guy.
Thing with this guy. That's right. That's what I told you for the longest time.
Scott Paulson, look him up. His name's Scott. I don't know.
It's pretty interesting. We've been having a lot of
he's an interesting guy. I've actually checked out a couple things, and I think he's fascinating. He's actually pretty entertaining to listen to. So
yeah, he actually.
I give him props. I'm tipping my hat off to Scott.
Yeah, I think I think.
And sometime
I think his graphics are terrible.
I'm going to call in and be on that show.
Yeah, you know what? I've tried to drag you into the show a couple of times, but no, I've got to work.
I know. People shouldn't have jobs.
Yeah, really, jobs. Ugh.
Thanks for joining us on the Dream Warrior Review podcast. Don't forget to tell your friends about us, follow us, and, of course, like us. We can be found on Podbean, which is an amazing app, YouTube, Stitcher, Alexa on any pod, iTunes, Google Play. We're on Twitter as well, at DW Review, and, of course, Facebook. You can find us there. You can also email us at dreamwarriorreview@gmail.com.